Hello and welcome back to Factorio. I am Dorthik and this is episode 28 of our Factorio 0.17 tutorial walkthrough Let's Play. In the last episode, we set up the production of flying robot frames in small amounts, just enough to get our personal robots done. Since the last episode, I added a second personal roboport and a few more solar panels just to try to get a little bit more energy. And I've increased the number of robots we have here to 20. As we mentioned in the last episode, we are desperately short on coal. We have a very small patch left. There's only about 300,000 coal left. And while that's still feeding our power plants just fine, because we have priorities set for that, and we're no longer running trains from coal, we are getting very little coal into our smelting arrays. They are really suffering because they're not getting enough coal. You can see the arrays are not getting power. So, originally I was going to go and capture this here coal patch off camera, but then I realized that we now have robots, and we have not yet seen how to build things with robots, beyond the very basics. So we are going to go and do that coal capture with the robot. Now, first things first. This is the last remains of our original base, original jump-off base, that I never quite bothered to clean up because it takes so much time. However, now we have robots, so let's put them to work. And we have more research we can do. This would work better if we had a lot more robots. Even with just our 20, you can see how much less annoying it is to do this with robots than if we were having to pick up all this by hand. Let's delete a little bit more. We don't need any of this stuff here. Personal laser defense, very nice, but we don't have anywhere near the power in our suit to operate that. That's going to have to wait for better armor and better power sources. And one of the ways we can help is by right-click picking them up, because that instantly recharges them, and they can go right back out again. Just be careful doing that if you're standing on stuff, because you will accidentally destroy things if you do it that way. Like if I was standing here, I'd also start picking up the train tracks. What's next? Discharge defense. Again, not right now. Alright. You can see how fairly quickly and efficiently we took all of that apart. But we also have this piece of belt that we don't need anymore. To get rid of it, we can do the same thing. Oh, we're running out of power, so our night vision gear is flickering. We can get rid of this by deconstructing it, but the problem is it's got all of that copper ore on it. So if I mark this for deconstruction, not only do they need to pick up the pieces, they also have to pick up all that copper ore, which is a lot of work for the robots. So I prefer to first pick up the ore by hand. Of course, now I have to dump it somewhere. And actually, before we continue dumping it, let's make sure we're not feeding any more into it. And I think we actually are. This is that line. So we definitely want to eliminate this. And we can pick up more. Again, out of space. So we will destroy this once we have someplace to put all the copper. Now, the reason I wanted to get rid of some of this is because I'm trying to figure out a way to get a train line into here. Because I want to make our life more convenient by having what we call a building train. And as I look at it, I don't think there's any way for us to get it through here, because even with all that junk eliminated, we still have these lines here coming from the train stations, and we could relocate them and wiggle them, but they're really in an optimal place. So we're going to do this differently. I've picked up a bunch of basic train building equipment, and I'm going to go up and to the right. I'll meet you up by our oil field. Here we are. Oh, and I have too much stuff. Let's dump that in there for now. Okay, now I'd like to take this line further to the right, but unfortunately we have these oil derricks here, so we're going to have to make a little bit of a jig. Let's grab our train blueprints, and we will start with our straight track, which we will place just north of this so that we're clear. Let's try about there. Let's see, how well does that work? That works pretty well. So let's build it. Now look at that. I don't have to go do it by hand. I can just send the robots to do my bidding. Let us get a power pole here. And one there. And if I can't reach, I can shift click and it'll get auto placed. And in fact, one of the very convenient ways to lay track is to simply... Where's my car? Right here. I'm gonna grab the solid fuel from it. Is to simply place down a locomotive, fuel it up, get into it, our roboports are on, and just go forward. And the robots will lay track within their range, and then we move a little bit further forward. We could do this faster with more robots and faster recharge for our robots, but this is good enough. And I would like us to go right about to where we're going. That's perfect. In fact, let's, yeah. We now need a T. Where do I want the T? I want the T to be about there, so we actually went a little bit too far. We can delete this, and then we can take our T and place it back in there with a shift click, and the bots will take care of filling it out. Now, we're going to back up and make a right turn. Don't want to leave the bots too far behind. By the way, if the bots run out of energy completely and are not close to you, nothing particularly bad will happen to them. They will eventually catch up with you. They will just do so very, very slowly. Just be aware of that. Let's see. We're going to put a straight track right here. Let's make sure we have power connected and some lights. And note that we're right now placing things from map mode, and because we have robots, they're perfectly happy to do that placing for us. And over here we've got a cliff, and since we've marked it for deletion by placing over it, and since we have cliff explosives in our inventory, the robots are perfectly happy to blow up that cliff for us. How far down have we gotten? We got a ways more to go, so let's drop that blueprint again. And let's make sure we get some radars down because we're leaving radar coverage. Let's put one here. Put it here. Shift click and power pole, shift click, and it'll get placed as soon as we get close enough to it. Now, we do not need our complete station setup for this particular setup because we're not planning on running a lot of trains in here. This is for our personal use train. So what we're going to do is we are going to snag this piece here. We don't need the radar. And we're going to put it, rotate it like so, and line it up with our rails. Probably good right there. We need to connect these. No, more research. And here I'm going to turn these guys off for a minute and manually bring it back around like so. Let's turn that back on. And we're going to place a train station. Did I get any train stations? I think I forgot train stations. Oh well, we'll get them in just a sec. And also while we're doing this, we can finally break that down. Oh, I did not want to build all that out. That's okay. Next. And the reason they're taking so long is because they've got to get all the ammo out of those guns. Let's pick you guys up. Yeah, you can blink. Train stations. Train stations. Right, so why did we go through all that? Well, because we're going to build what I call a building train. This is an idea that was introduced to me, but at least by Catherine of Sky. I think it's an absolutely brilliant one. This is going to be our mall. And what we're going to do is we're going to send this to the mall, where it will sit until circuit condition is met, which is basically until we tell it otherwise. I'm going to throw a couple of cars on that. And what we're going to do with these cars is we're going to use them to haul our supplies. Specifically, our train building supplies, as well as things that we might want for building various stations that we're going to be building. Let's see, do I have any drills? Those should go there. That seems good. Let's go pick up some more. I'm gonna grab all of this, all of this, all of this, a lot of rails. In fact, let's increase how many rails we're making. I also want a lot of mining drills. We're gonna need a lot of belts. And a lot of power poles. Probably both kinds. So again, our inventory is nearly full, but we have a train here. We can always add more cars to the train if need be. And eventually we'll load this train automatically as well. So let's dump a bunch of this in here. Let's dump all our rail stuff into here. Next research, more laser turret stuff. And now we can take the train and tell it to go over here. And off it goes. Now, we need to make another T-junction that goes up to this way, and I think we're going to do it here on the right. I didn't place the radar quite right, but that's okay. Since we have robots, we can fix that. What we can do is we can say place a radar right here with a power pole, and next time we're near there, the robots will do it. So I want to make sure we have at least enough for space for our full train. Let's put you on manual. We'll grab some of the train tracks and build that. And I want to see where we need to put it so that our whole train fits. Right there. Yes. So we're gonna put a T intersection right here. That's fine. And the idea is simply that the train allows us to bring a lot more stuff than we can fit into our inventory and bring it with us for construction. And follow combat robotics 2. Combat robots and these kind of robots are completely different. They don't really share much with each other. You can see these are made from defender capsules. They're not even using flying robot frames. The combat robots are very, very different kind of creature. Alright, let's make sure we have some signals that so that it can place for us. Now, robots will not deploy when you're going fast, either by train or by car. So while I'm driving, they're not popping out. As soon as I stop, they will. Okay. Straight. Power poles. We need power poles here. Energy shields. Okay. Now, let's get out of our train and go over here, although we can get rid of these cliffs here. Just because they're in my way. And here is our coal patch. And we want to build our train station right about here. So we are going to grab a piece from an existing one, and I think this will do nicely right here. Although we certainly don't need anything quite that big. So let's grab this piece. And we're going to turn off most of the stuff that we don't need right now. And this is going to go right here, I think. Yeah. Right there. The robots can build that. And since there's really no place further to go here, well, there's that. Let's build a T. Let's use the small T. Let's get in the train and bring the train up. And I want a second train station here. Let's drop a load station. We want it going this way, so right there. Let's get rid of this. Okay, we did not grab enough We have train stations on the train, but we did not grab... I'm not sure if we have enough inserters to do this. And let's build a second one, because I would like there to be two... have the possibility of two load and unload stations. And while that's happening, let's make a copy of this. That's the right number. We don't need these guys. We don't need this. And again, we can bring the train around. And we're running low on tracks, fortunately. We have plenty on the train. Similarly, we need more train signals. Probably more rail signals. No problem, we've got them right there. Okay, that's the train stations. Are all set. Let's work on the mining. Let's grab that, and a bunch of that. Oh, that's an unnecessary piece right there. I just want to make sure we have everything connected. Nope, we do not. We need some more power poles here and here, so we will have to make sure we remedy that. So this is now connected. We're going to need to connect this link, but we will do that in a bit. We also could use some more radars, I think. Where's the... We probably need a radar certainly up here somewhere. Let's make sure that gets built. Not powered yet because we have not connected the link. Now, one annoying thing is when you destroy trees and rocks, it dumps it into your inventory, but we will just have to live with that. Alright, blueprints. In our walkthrough blueprints, we have the compact mining array. We're going to use that. It is set for this direction. Let's see, we need to start it this far to capture everything, and it needs to come down this far to capture everything. Unfortunately, we are out of power. I'm going to turn off the robots because before we do the robots, I'd like to check our blueprint. Oops, I placed them backwards. No worries, that's why I like to place them before I actually engage the robots to build. Okay, That covers not quite everything, so we need a few more. Let's use the small tile. Because really we can place that there, there, there. Those are all covered, that one is not. Okay, let's get rid of the ones we don't need. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Need this. Don't need that guy. Don't need that guy. That one's needed, this one is not. This one is not. This one is not. These two are not. I'm just trimming the excess. Okay. I think that's that one we can do without. I think that's as trimmed as we're gonna get. Let's turn it on. And we're gonna start near the bottom because I want to make sure we get the bottom portions of it done first. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lanes, which is perfect because it means we can use our 8-to-8 balancer. We're going to get it from Bilka's belt balancer book. We're going to use this one. And that can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't need that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, as long as we're near there. That should work. And this was definitely a lot easier to build with the robots than by hand, if you remember the last time we built it, just how much effort that took. Let's walk over here because I want you to fix this error here that we had made. There we go. Alright. Okay, now from here we can feed our train stations, and again, as before, we're just going to start with 1. That lined up to anything useful? No. Let's see. Let's use these. And from the other 4, we will feed the other train station later. Now we need to connect the whole array to our network. Just mocking it up to see how it'll look. I think that'll work well. Might as well put down some of it. There we go. And I'm just going to cut these temporarily. And this station is going to be called Coal 1 out. Alright. Let's hop in our train. And let's send the train over here. And I'm going to add over here something like fluid count. Get rid of that one. That something is greater than something. That's just so that the train doesn't keep going. Now, this is where we need to make our connections. Let's take a look. Oh, we already had a lot of that planned out. There's our connection, and as soon as we did that, we've got mining going. And we've got coal coming onto the belts. Alright. Not everything, but something. So let us send our train back over here. And it'll take a scenic route, but that's okay. The train is fast. Oh. Oops. I didn't turn off the condition. Fluid count, something or other, greater than some number. Let's do that again. Not an uncommon mistake. It happens. C'est la vie. Alright, you wait there. Let's build out a little bit more of this array. And I'm just going to stand here for a few minutes and just use up whatever electric mining drills I have in my inventory. Because there's no sense in taking all these back home. Once I've run out of something, I will stop. So, in this episode, we used robots to extend our train network and to put down a mining array. We've introduced the concept of the building train, and I purposefully put the station near our mall so that we can easily go back and get more things if we run out. Between episodes, I'm going to let the robots run some more and fill out the rest of this array, and I'm going to put in a coal loading station over here. We don't need to do that on camera since we've already seen exactly how that's done. It'll be exactly like our iron station, and we will be able to feed coal back into the network, which should make our life much better. Until then, why don't you go ahead and try building one of these yourself? And as always, don't forget to save.